Oh
Okay.
man.
Hadn't been asked that before.
Yeah. Um,
That's a good question. That's a curveball right there.
yeah. Yeah.
Something's happening here.
It's an alien
Oh,
invasion right now.
excuse me, John. My mom is calling me, and it rang on my.
Nerd Reactor, roll out.
Rainn, Chris, how's it going?
Good man.
Hey,
How are you?
good. How's it
Good.
going?
Good. Yeah, good. The Code 3, just watched it, and a lot of craziness. It's madness. And how does it, I guess for each of you, like the balance of comedy and just like the trauma, what was that like trying to get into that?
Uh,
Oh, well, I'll start us off. We wanted to make a movie that was true to EMS workers, and EMS workers deal with a lot of comedy and a lot of drama on a 12-hour shift, and it's coming at them. You know, there's something absurd will happen. Someone will swallow their pet hamster or something like that, and then at the next, 15 minutes later, they're treating gunshot wounds. So this movie is kind of a wild ride and is part in turns hysterical and in turns kind of riveting, and that's the truth of these frontline workers.
and my co-writer, Patrick Pianezza, was a real paramedic for 12 years. So every call they go on is based on a real call that he lived. And for me, it was just a fascinating insight into the job because the job was nothing like what I thought it was. And everything I learned about it kind of flipped my expectations on their heads.
Oh, wow, yeah. And I think one of my favorite scenes in this movie is this person is asking like the paramedics, like, what's the worst thing you've seen like on the job? So I guess I want to ask for each of you, what's the craziest thing you've experienced in your career?
Huh.
That's a good question. That's a curveball right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I will say shooting on a freeway in the middle of Los Angeles was probably one of the craziest moments of my career. It's a very surreal feeling to be walking down the 710 with no traffic on it, like a ghost town.
yeah, that was crazy. That entire day that we filmed there, that was really nuts. And didn't we also filmed scenes from down in like the morgue of that abandoned hospital?
Yeah.
Like that we shot in this abandoned hospital in like South Central, and it was we were 2 or 3 floors down, and where for decades they kept the dead bodies, and it was
Wow.
it was it was pretty horrific. So come to think of it, some of the most out there filming experiences happened on Code 3.
There you go. Yeah, Code 3. And for I just want to ask for each of you, let's say if the paramedics were to be in the science fiction world or the fantasy world, how would you think they would react to just like aliens or like superheroes or just monsters?
Oh
Okay.
man.
Hadn't been asked that before.
Yeah. uh, I don't know. Yeah. Man, I couldn't speak for the paramedics. I would run the other way, but that's me.
No, they're oh, something's happening here.
It's an alien
Oh,
invasion right now.
excuse me, John. My mom is calling me, and it rang on my uh, it rang on my phone. So sorry about that.
No worries,
put
no worries.
yeah, screw her. I will say we had an interview earlier, and the young man said, most movies about heroes are about men that put on capes and fly around and fight crime, and really the heroes are these first responders. And I feel like, alien invasions, zombies, undead, you know, whatever it is that EMS workers are going to try and save lives. I know that's just a dumb, kind of obvious answer, but I think it's true.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think just the different characters have to deal with each other every day. And sometimes, like let's say for example, Rob, like he's like the kind of like the antagonist. And I guess for each of you, what was that like? Like if there's ever been a moment where there's like, I don't know, I wouldn't say antagonist, but like maybe something like an obstacle on the set, and how do you go through and just push through?
I think the biggest challenge on the set is always time. Like every day, you're kind of facing a ticking clock, and so trying to capture everything, especially like it was a big goal for us to get all the medical stuff right. And Patrick, my co-writer, was on set, and it was we would check every scene and try to get the procedures right, the machines right, and that takes a lot of work and time. And so I don't know. It was really important to us, but yeah, that was the constant battle.
Rainn.
Yes.
Just yeah, that question about just pushing through like obstacles, like and like what's your mindset? How do you push through and deal with it?
I don't know how to answer that question. You know, that's what we all do in our lives. We get obstacles and we try and overcome them and gain wisdom along the way. And that's what the first responders are doing in Code 3.
Oh yeah, and I like the beginning on how it just starts off, how crazy it is with the whether it's the throwing up and just getting hit, getting stabbed by the needle. And
Yeah.
so, what was filming that scene like?
Well, those scenes, I mean, there's the vomit scene. I mean, paramedics are getting like vomited on, peed on, bled on, everything you can possibly imagine, every kind of fluid coming out of the human body they're dealing with, except maybe earwax. And but we kept it real, man. We had the back of our fake ambulance, which was a real ambulance, just covered in vomit, and we were slipping and sliding in it and filming in it and acting in it. And that's just like what paramedics are dealing with every day. So it just kept it real, and it also kept it funny. And that's the important thing, is we wanted to make this movie entertaining. It's a popcorn movie. Bring your family. It's a roller coaster ride. You know, it's not necessarily just a heavy lesson about the American healthcare system. It does have those pieces, but we just wanted to make it just a wild, fun ride.
Oh yeah, I guess I want to ask Rainn, since we're Nerd Reactor, we want to ask like the just pop culture stuff of just you like on a set of, let's say, The Office. And if there's ever been like that moment, like in this movie, where it's just everything's just happening, just crazy, just back to back to back.
Yeah, I would say the episode of The Office that's most like Code 3 was the fire drill, where Dwight says, "Today smoking is going to save lives." And they're throwing the cat up in the ceiling and everyone is running around like crazy. You know, we shot that over the course of 2 days, and it was, usually The Office is pretty sedate, right? You know, it's behind desks and it's kind of awkward little scenes. And that was the one that was rip roaring mayhem. And that was kind of like filming Code 3 most every single day.
Ah, there you go. But yes, Rainn, Christopher, it's a pleasure chatting with you both, and I can't wait for, once the movie comes out and people to experience this movie.
Thank you, John.
Thanks so
Thanks for
much.
having us, man.
Amiee, Rob, how is it going?
Great.
Going good.
Yeah, so Code 3, watching this movie, it's a lot of very traumatic just scenes. And first, initially, I just thought it was going to be more of a comedy, but it's like, oh, it's there's like some serious moments to this. So I was wondering for each of you, what was that like, just reading the script and seeing how like just things were kind of balanced out in terms of the comedy side, but then also like, death and mayhem and chaos.
Well, I think that's like indicative, or not indicative, but it shows what the job entails like pretty quickly. I think that the people that work in this space, like the EMS workers, the line workers, I find that in speaking to a lot of them, they deal with the trauma and the drama of it all with gallows humor. You know what I mean? They got to get through the day somehow. And I think the script was like so dead on because it's based on the real life experiences of a real paramedic. And so I think just to get through the day, you just got to lighten it up a little bit, you know. And so they do, I think, find the humor where they can.
Yeah, I think this movie, the script is perfectly. I mean, it's the space is so perfect for a dark comedy, and I also appreciate good storytelling. And to me, good storytelling involves laughter and
Mhm.
drama and tears, and you feel something, whether it's joy or pain. So I think this script and this cast delivered on this in a big way.
Oh yeah, and I have a lot of feelings for her, Rob, your character, because you always play like the the character is like, he's just easy to hate, but it's also there's some humor to it too. So, what is it like for you, just working on these type of characters?
Well, usually I tend to I enjoy playing. Sounds so bad, but I do enjoy playing kind of the bad guy or at least the jerk. But usually it's a comedic jerk. You know, it's a
Mm.
jerk that is obviously being a jerk, and a knucklehead and a dummy and all that stuff. And that's fine with me. I don't know what it says about me again, but I enjoy playing that. But this guy, Dr. Serrano, he was pretty cold and pretty sarcastic, and I wasn't trying to be a comedic jerk as much as I was just a jerk, and that was fine. I like doing that. I like playing different characters. I love acting, and so any opportunity to play a character, and that's why people like to play villains or jerks or bad guys, is because that's generally a side of your personality you don't ever get to take out for a
Mhm.
walk, and for good
Yeah.
reason. But when you do, it's really really awesome as an actor. So, and as long as it's serving the purpose, this I think this character serves a big purpose, and I actually ended up empathizing with this character a lot. So.
Oh yeah, there was that one scene where he talks about how he's affected, he's dealing with a lot of stuff. So I did like that. So, I guess I kind of feel bad for him, but then it continues on. I was like, never mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Amiee, I feel like your character is kind of like the guardian angel, and just kind of like the voice of reason. So what was that like for you? Because I feel you've done characters where they're I would say noble and just good-hearted. So what was it like tackling this?
Well, this is thank you for that. I think that Jessica is the audience, right? You meet everyone kind of through her eyes and you're able to experience the craziness of the world because it's her first day on the job. It's Rainn's last day on the job, or Randy's last day on the job. And so that serves that purpose, in a script. It's like you always want somebody that the audience can be like, this is crazy, right? To say that when the audience is thinking it. And so it's great to have that role because you get to react to everything that's happening, and that's what I loved about the script in general, because I also, as an actor, didn't know much about this world. And so I'm able to learn, but also able to experience it for the audience. And that's, the best kind of, it's not as fun as playing the villain or the antagonist, but it's second best for sure.
Oh yeah. And so let's say, like, for example, if it's like a cop movie or cop show, like sometimes the actors would go on a ride along to get the feel, like this is what it's like. So I was wondering for you, both of you, whether you did something like that for like the doctor role or the paramedic role.
Well, we got to, I did a ride along with the South Central Fire Department, and in Los Angeles County, the fire department, they're also paramedics, a lot of them. And so they do both. And it was like 10 hours, just a regular shift for them. But for me, it's a day I will literally never forget. And I don't know how they're able to do it every day, but it was just call after call after call. And it says something about our healthcare system and how broken it is that in some areas, underserved areas, there isn't a closest hospital. So, or they can't go to an ER, or sorry, they can't go to a primary doctor, right? So at one point somebody knocked on the door of the firehouse and was like, I have a stomach ache. Do you have anything for that? So a lot of these folks are playing a lot of roles in the community. And that really opened my eyes to just how little of a safety net there are for a lot of folks in this country. And these frontline healthcare workers are doing the job of 3 or 4 people. So it was really eye-opening.
Yeah, I didn't get to do any kind of ride along. I was more, the ER. I was in there, and I didn't want to get in anybody's way in the ER. But I did have some friends who were doctors. My doctor, my personal doctor, primary care physician, what do you call him these days? He was a battalion surgeon for the Marines, and so we have a lot in common. And he served in Fallujah, and so I picked his brain a little bit about trauma situations and triage and all that stuff, and he was very gracious to give me some answers. So,
oh yeah, and with there's a scene where like a person just asking the paramedics about what's like the worst thing that you've seen, and so I want to ask you, like, what's the craziest thing you've experienced just in your career for each of you?
God. Well, I mean, the craziest thing. One time, says a lot about me. I was doing an off-Broadway play, and inevitably, if you're doing theater, you're gonna get sick at some point, and you need to go on, right? So I remember going to CVS. I was so sleep deprived. You're doing 8 shows a week, and I got like a duo pack of Dayquil and NyQuil, and I took the NyQuil by mistake, and I had to go on, and that was a trip. Because I don't even know. I had completely blacked out. So that's probably the craziest thing that's happened to me. And then like a shooting in New York City, like a rat will like go over your foot or something crazy. But our job is pretty safe. Like there is, for the most part. Like I'm not Tom Cruise. I'm not doing my own stunts or anything. So as far as crazy goes, that's about as crazy as it gets for me.
I'm racking my brain here. I'm sure it'll come to me minutes after I get off this interview. One thing I should have said, but the only thing that's coming to mind, I was doing a show in a little black box theater underneath a grocery store in New York City, underneath the Gristedes.
Oh my! I was gonna say the Gristede. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're on 26th and 8th.
Yeah.
So the pipes were exposed over the stage, and naturally one of them burst during the middle of a show. And I don't think it was clean drinking water either. I think it was, yeah, exactly. Pretty bad stuff. I remember that. And I also, one of the best times I ever had, I was doing a show in that same theater, and it was a comedy sketch, and I broke, and I couldn't get it back together. Like, sometimes if you break, you might chuckle or whatever, but you're able to carry on. I couldn't get it back. And I just cried. I laughed until I cried and had to walk off the stage.
Oh my God!
Almost abandoned the scene. So, but again,
crazy.
it was one of those things where I was so mortified, but at the same time, it still brings me joy to think about it today. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think that's all the time I have. But I just want to say, Amiee, Rob, it's a pleasure chatting with you both, and can't wait for everyone else to check out the movie when it comes out.
Thanks, John.
Thank you so much, John.